Hello, and welcome to the last video lecture for photosynthesis. I'm so glad you made it here. Hopefully, you were able to grasp the concepts on the previous video. So now, let us begin the last one. Okay, we were able to discuss our light reactions, our Calvin cycle, and now I want to talk to you about our enzyme. You remember last time in Calvin cycle, I said that in carbon fixation, an enzyme called Rubisco helps to do the job, the fixing of the carbon, right? Now, Rubisco actually has this complete name, which is quite long. It is ribulose bisphosphate carboxylase oxygenase. The thing about this enzyme is like sometimes it can have bad habits. Yes, it can fix carbon, which is the primary thing that it should do, but sometimes it can choose to fix oxygen. And for plants, actually, that's not what they want. Okay, so that happening leads to what we call photorespiration. Because when this Rubisco, this enzyme fixes oxygen, it cannot do the job. So because of photorespiration, plants have special adaptations to limit the effect of photorespiration. Remember that I told you that in Calvin cycle, the majority of the plants do it, right? It's 80%. Those are C3 plants. But there are also other plants like the C4 plants and the CAM plants. CAM stands for crassulation acid metabolism. So they have developed these special adaptations, and let me show you. The first one are the C4 plants. So this can be found in hot and moist environments. 15% of the plants here on earth are C4 plants. These are, for example, grasses, corn, and sugarcane. These that you can see in the picture. And in C4 plants, they are smart enough to do photosynthesis in two places. And those two places, namely, are the mesophyll cells and the bundle sheet cells. So light reaction occurs in the mesophyll cells and the Calvin cycle occurs in the bundle sheet cells. How do they do it? Let's take a look at this picture. So we have our mesophyll cell, this one on top. And then we have our bundle sheet cell, this one at the bottom. So again, the light reaction occurs in the mesophyll cell. So you can see we have the chloroplast over here. And we have different enzymes to help us with this process. And then if we follow through to it, we get different products such as malate or aspartate. There's also the participation of our form of energy here, ATP. And then in the bundle sheet cell, this is where Calvin cycle occurs. Just to make sure, actually the point of this is to make sure that the only thing that enters the Calvin cycle is our carbon dioxide. So the Rubisco cannot screw it up. Okay, so it can only do the right fixing, which is the fixing of carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide is the only one that enters. So it can do the job successfully. Okay, once again, for C4 plants, they have two places to do the job, the mesophyll cell and the bundle sheet cell. Okay, and the other one, actually this is my favorite, CAM plants. They are so smart. CAM plants, again, that's crassulation acid metabolism. So these plants can be found in hot and dry environments. That's 5% of the plants all over the world. And some of them, I think you have in your homes if you have plants there. Examples include cactuses, the succulents, and some ice plants. So these are some examples. And what's unique about them is that they have learned to do different processes according to different times of the day, because their stomata is closed during the day and the stomata is open during the night. Okay, stomata. Remember this term? Okay, if we look back on our introduction part, the stomata is the opening found on the underside of the leaves. Okay, so these structures open and close, and that's where the gases are exchanged. So if the stomata is open, then carbon dioxide can come in and oxygen can come out. So, income plants, they close it during the day because, take note, they are found in hot and dry environments. So, it's very hot in the day, so they close the stomata and they open it during the night. And so, light reaction occurs during the day because light reaction needs the light energy, right? And at night, that is where the Calvin-Benson cycle occurs. Oh, basically, it occurs when carbon dioxide is present. Not necessarily at night, but when carbon dioxide is present. Okay. So here is a detailed picture for the CAM day to night cycle. Okay, we start with the night. Okay, let's look at the night here. So the stomata is open. That means carbon dioxide can enter, right? So it also has different enzymes here like the PAP carboxylase to fix carbon with PEP, so it can become malic acid, and it will be primarily stored in the vacuole. Here, malic acid is stored, and then when it's day, then that malic acid will be moved now to the chloroplast. Okay, so here, it's here now. This 4 carbon molecule enters, and then 1 carbon breaks through, that is our carbon dioxide. So this is, again, the only thing that enters our Calvin cycle during the day. Okay, so it can be, the cycle can be done, the starch can be made, and then it's nighttime again, and it happens again. Carbon dioxide enters, storing it in the vacuole, so on and so forth. Alright. So question, why do CAM plants close their stomata during the day? Simple answer to that is because CAM plants close their stomata in the hottest part of the day to conserve water. Remember that water is very important to plants, so as much as possible, they would want to conserve it. And that involves closing the openings found in their leaves, which are the stomata. Okay, very smart innovation, right? Okay, so let's just compare the C4 and CAM plants so we can understand this better. Again, if we say C4 plants, they just have 2 different places to do the job. They have the mesophyll cell and they have the bundle sheath cell. And then for CAM plants, they do it separately depending on the time of day. Okay, if it's nighttime, so CO2 will enter. And in the daytime, Calvin cycle, of course, to produce their goal, which is to create their own food in the form of sucrose and starch. Right? So, again, for plants, we have the C3 plants, 80% of the world's population of plants. We have the C4 plants, 15%, and CAM plants, 5%. Okay, so I hope this part enables you to be more appreciative to plants because they are actually really smart creatures. They have learned their way into this world. They have developed a lot of systems to make their own food, and that's very notable because even us human beings, we cannot do it on our own. Okay, so I guess that will be the end of this video lecture for this part. Let's identify. Stay tuned to your video conference sessions. Thank you very much for listening. If there are other parts of the series here for the playlist of photosynthesis that you're confused on, you can ask your teachers about this. You can put it on the discussion forum so they can answer your questions. Thank you and God bless.